did have it in the right way. Roll idea what I just did. It looks so much different than the other day. All right, so we're gonna do a short little tour on everything I've done in the last, I don't know, well, I just rolled 10 hours on the tractor, so we'll go off of 10 hours. So I came in here and kind of fucked some of this up, but I still got plenty of underbrush. But this is what everything used to look like. Made a little walking path here. Remember that? That was right behind that burn pile. This was nothing but brush yesterday. Or not yesterday, the day before, but still plenty over here. Try to slow down. My wife says I move too much. Makes you sick when you're watching, seeing all that stuff go back and forth. I backed my brush hog yesterday back here and fucking smacked some of the metal. So now I had to hammer it back out, but it's working fine, but fucking chipped a hole in that metal when it bent. I'm slowly starting to learn how to pull those trees up with that Land Pride 60-inch root grapple. I need to get those trees at some point. I never thought I'd be able to get this far back to see those trees right there. That's crazy. Then cleaned up the pile from the backside. I moved that log, but it's really heavy. It was testing my loader, so I just left it there, and that'll be the base. But that just knocked down. That was a tree about 12 feet tall, and it was dead. As we keep moving this way, oops, tripping on stumps. So another little path to go through. So I see there's a tree there. See, I tried to do a little more last night, but it was getting dark so fast. So I'm not even sure what I was doing, but there's that. This collapsed trees are all rotten. Another base of a tree that's been fallen. And a lot of these trees fell in 2020 during Hurricane Laura, and just over time, you know, they just fall bit and bit. I've been trying to get that tree out, but man, whew, you can see I shredded it, but it's still ain't out. There's another dead tree full of, looking like termites. And then I'm gonna try to do today some box blading and just try to work on leveling and scraping some of this area since I have it already developed. This is my first section. Like my wife said, we need to focus one section at a time instead of trying to hit everything. But I wanted to do a general push out because I couldn't get here. You know, all this was covered in stumps and dead trees and stuff. And see, yesterday there was a tree here that ran along. Chopped that baby into pieces. I have it in the previous video. You probably already saw it, or I didn't add it to this video. Anyways, again, going out, pushing it. Because there was a big tree here too yesterday, remember? I don't know, I'm not saying remember, but there's a big tree here yesterday that had been here since, again, Laura. And I chopped that bad boy up. Took a little 8-foot section, and then I fought with this stump and pulled the whole thing out. And you see those little trees? They kind of make a square right here that I need to get. But we're keep walking. Again, this is just a little tour. Morning. A little tour of just, 10 hours I put on the tractor. Those more trees I gotta chop up. My chains, man. I got a steel MS362 and the power choke button keeps breaking. The little toggle, the little plastic piece of shit toggle It's broken 3 times already, man. We've replaced it. It's just so annoying. I can't even use this commercial grade fucking saw because of a cheap ass $12 part. It's pathetic. So I took all that down. I cut these down with the chainsaw. So we're gonna learn how to use that root grapple, but maybe not for that. You can see I tried to hit that one. Rotten wood. I tried to lift it up and it just collapsed on me. More fallen trees. One I could probably push over. Not sure. See, I put back the bush hog back here. Now I got my back burn pile. I got 2 burn piles. But that was here a long time. More brush. More brush. We're getting to the end of our property line, to be honest with you. I'm just fighting. It's gonna be hard to find out where that is at the moment until I make a little bit deeper cuts. But yeah. It's wet over there, so. Plus baby boy was sleeping and he had a fever yesterday, so we had to be quiet. We had to try to be quiet. Dyslexia. But yeah, man. Get into it. Oh, there's holes everywhere I keep missing. And see, my tricky thing, whenever I get over to this spot when it dries up, is that's my power line. It's super low. I cleared it with the tractor yesterday, but you got a tree on that. That's probably why our power gets iffy. You got these little bitty trees that just need to go. So, clear this super easy path and then trench out a little drainage line. Yeah.